Have you ever wondered why so many people earning minimum wage can't seem to save any money? It's not because they don't try or because they're irresponsible. The truth is, the odds are stacked against them. Today, we're going to break down the economic and financial reasons why saving money feels impossible for minimum earners. The high cost of living. Let's start with the most obvious reason: the cost of living. For most minimum wage workers, their income barely covers basic necessities like rent, food, and utilities. Imagine this. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in many cities can cost more than half of a minimum wage worker's monthly paycheck. That's before they even think about groceries, transportation, or medical expenses. Here's an example. If you're earning $1,500 a month and your rent is $900, that leaves you with just $600. From that, you need to pay for food, which can easily cost $300 or more. Then there are utility bills, maybe $150, and transportation, another $100 or so. By the end of the month, there's barely anything left to save. In fact, many people are forced to dip into debt just to make ends meet. Inflation, outpacing wages. Here's another big factor: inflation. Over the years, the prices of everything have gone up. Rent, food, gas, healthcare, you name it. But minimum wages haven't kept up with this rise. For example, 10 years ago, a gallon of milk might have cost $2.50, but now it's closer to $4. The same goes for housing, utilities, and other essentials. Meanwhile, in many places, the minimum wage has stayed the same or increased only slightly. This gap means that even though people are working the same number of hours, their money buys less and less. It's like running on a treadmill that's speeding up. No matter how hard you try, you're stuck in the same place, or worse, falling behind. Debt burden. Now let's talk about debt. For minimum earners, debt often feels unavoidable. Why? Because when you're living paycheck to paycheck, any unexpected expense, like a car repair, a medical bill, or even a higher-than-usual electricity bill, can throw your whole budget out of balance. This is where credit cards or payday loans come in. But these quick fixes come at a cost. Payday loans often have incredibly high interest rates, and credit card debt can quickly spiral out of control if you can't pay it off right away. Imagine owing $500 on a credit card with a 20% interest rate. If you're only making minimum payments, that debt can take years to pay off, costing you hundreds of dollars in interest. It's a vicious cycle. You borrow money to get by, but the debt makes it even harder to save in the future. Lack of emergency funds. When you're earning minimum wage, building an emergency fund feels like an impossible dream. Experts often recommend having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up for emergencies. But how can you save 3 months of expenses when you can barely cover 1 month's bills? Without an emergency fund, any unexpected expense can be devastating. A medical bill, a car repair, or even something as simple as a broken appliance can force people to take on more debt or go without necessities. And once again, this makes saving money even harder. Hidden costs of poverty. Finally, let's talk about the hidden costs of being poor. These are the expenses that people with higher incomes might not even think about. For example, minimum earners often don't have the money to buy in bulk, which means they end up paying more per item. They might not have access to reliable transportation, which limits their job opportunities and forces them to spend more on taxis or ride shares. They might also have lower credit scores, which can mean higher interest rates on loans or being denied for better financial products altogether. All these little things add up, eating away at what little money they have left to save. So why can't minimum earners save money? It's not because they're lazy or bad with money. It's because the system makes it almost impossible. Between the high cost of living, stagnant wages, debt, lack of emergency funds, and hidden costs, saving money is a constant uphill battle. But understanding these challenges is the first step to addressing them. If we want to create a world where everyone has a fair shot at financial stability, we need to push for policies that raise wages, lower living costs, and provide better support for those who need it most. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's start a conversation in the comments below. What do you think needs to change to make saving possible for everyone?